So they dropped a clip of Star Wars Rise of Skywalker on Good Morning America, I think it was. So J.J. Abrams was on to talk about the movie, and they showed this 30-second clip that's apparently set early in the film, and it's a pretty cool clip. I mean, it's pretty exciting. It definitely showcases Abrams' talent for fast-paced action sequences. He's really good at that. But what happens in the clip is kind of interesting, and it I think the timing is just really funny because if you're familiar with Star Wars, well, you should probably just see it.
They fly now? They fly now!
In case you need to hear it again, they fly now. Like I said, there's a lot of people making fun of this basically. And I'm just gonna be honest with you. When I saw it, I kind of laughed too. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't look cool. Like, it looks really cool, and I want to see this scene. And, like, believe me, I'm one of these people that is probably overcompensating in terms of how enthusiastic I am for this movie. I want it to be really good. I cannot overemphasize that enough. I want it to be so good that it blows us all away. I don't know if that's going to happen. That's mostly because I don't have a lot of faith in J.J. Abrams. And I hate to say that. I just don't know if he's... Anyways. The reason a lot of fans are laughing about this is because they've showcased this scene, and this moment when these stormtroopers blast off with their jetpacks is supposed to be kind of like shocking and eye-opening. Like, oh my gosh, they're way more threatening now because they're so mobile. And, it starts off with C-3PO going like, they can fly now?
They fly now!
And then it's repeated by Finn.
They fly now?
And then it's, definitively stated by Poe. And it's supposed to be kind of just a gag moment, like they're all in shock. And it's like, oh my gosh, they can fly now? They can fly now! I mean, it's funny. Like, it's a funny scene. I'm sure it will be even funnier when we see it on screen and kind of get the full context of what's going on. But the reason why fans are laughing at this scene and not necessarily excited about it is because it seems weird that the characters should be so surprised at something new like this. Like, okay, especially Finn. Finn was a stormtrooper. He was a stormtrooper with the First Order for who knows how long. Since he was a child, I think. And that kind of technology, just basically having a jetpack, is not new to Star Wars. It's been around since the prequels, and which is also canon. I mean, Boba Fett had it, Jango Fett had it. I believe Stormtroopers and Clone Troopers both had it in different circumstances. But it's not completely uncommon to find them in Star Wars. In fact, it's kind of a trademark characteristic of, like, The Mandalorian. Jango Fett and Boba Fett. And it could be in store for The Mandalorian. Who knows? That would be interesting to see. So, all this to say, a lot of fans are just thinking that their surprise to seeing these jet troopers launch like that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, maybe it would be, surprising for Rey to see that, or maybe C-3PO to see that, or maybe Poe to see that. But then they all repeat it too, and I don't know. I'm not sure this was the best scene to showcase the film. So, I think it's really funny though, because I showed this scene to my wife, and she really loved it. She laughed, and it made me remember, like, oh my gosh. Well, first of all, it's one of the reasons why I married her is because she has the best, most perfectly innocent reactions to everything that, like, we watch together. So reflective of her personality. I just love it. But even just talking about this, it makes me wonder, like, am I being too cynical about this? Like, have I become so cynical about this trilogy that I can't even enjoy something simple like this? Because a lot of fans are laughing at it, but There's a lot of people that are going to laugh at it for the right reasons, in the right way, in the way that it was intended to be funny. Because it is funny, but you could roll your eyes at it, or you could indulge in it. And I prefer to indulge in the scene. And that's where I'm kind of in this weird in-between place, because I want to see the sequel trilogy be taken more seriously, but I also want them to mature and grow beyond what they've done. So, I don't know. I'm kind of mixed about it. Like, yeah, I liked it, but, you know, again, it's like, was this the right move? Was this the best scene to show off? Is this the right kind of thing for something like Finn to say? I don't know, but hopefully the movie's going to be awesome. But it is well shot. I mean, it's a really fast-paced looking scene. It's exciting. It's adventurous. Adding that extra mobility to the enemies, to the stormtroopers, does make them a little bit more threatening. I don't know that necessarily it paid off the way they wanted it to. And I don't like that a lot of fans are finding it just funny, because that's like, if you're trying to sell people on a movie that a lot of people were already very skeptical of, you should really think about what you're going to showcase. And Finn should not have been surprised by that. Like, he is the last person that should have been surprised by that. He knew about all kinds of First Order technology. I mean, he's probably seen these guys in action before. But I don't know, maybe it's something that they never had, and it was really only exclusive to the Fets, and maybe some Mandalorians, and maybe I don't know. But even if you go into the Star Wars games, a lot of them have characters that have, you know, jet troopers. Oh, okay, here's one. I just thought of one. The new Star Wars Battlefront games. There's characters that you can play as that have, you know, what do you call it? Rocket boosters. Jetpacks? Is that what I'm thinking? Jetpacks. Rocket boosters? No, jetpacks sounds better. Yeah. I'm going to go with that. Yeah, there's characters you can play as that have dang it. Jetpacks. Thank you. They have jetpacks. That's what they have. And you can play as them. So, anyways, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. I mean, I just feel like they keep doing things that are not looking good for themselves. Like, the other day, Kathleen Kennedy was being interviewed by, I don't know who, Variety, maybe? She was saying that there's not any direct source material to draw on for these films. Okay, if you want to be absolutely technical, there's not a book that these sequel films are derived from directly. Okay, it's not like they took the Harry Potter novels and, you know, turned them into made them for the big screen. Okay, that's not what happened. But there is an enormous amount of content that has been made over the years between books and video games, comics, all the above, that these guys could have drawn from to create ideas for this sequel trilogy. And so I think it doesn't look really good on the directors and the writers when they introduce something like this and make it seem like it's such a big deal, like we should be so surprised when we see this. Because if you knew even just a moderate knowledge of Star Wars, you probably have seen characters with jetpacks before. So I don't know that it really looks good on the leadership to be that lacking in knowledge. And so for Kennedy to make a statement like that, like there's no source material. There's so much source material that they could draw inspiration from. And I think they have done that a little bit, but they've been very conservative with what they've used to inspire for the movies. And I'm not even saying that they need to pull all of their content ideas from previously established stuff. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that if you're not going to take your ideas from this previous content, then you need to at least recognize stuff that's kind of already obviously been established, because otherwise it's not going to have the impact that you want. And I want Abrams and Kennedy to succeed in delivering a quality finale. I do not want this film to fail. I don't want it to fail. It's not because I'm like some kind of hardcore Star Wars fanboy that never wants to see a franchise do bad and think it can do no wrong. Because I will tell you guys right now, I hated Solo. I will talk more about that at some point, but I hated that movie. And the more I watch The Last Jedi, I feel conflicted about it. I feel like it's not aging well with me the more I think about it, as much as I really like it. Even today, I was watching a video review from Sean Chandler, and he was talking about Attack of the Clones. And I love Attack of the Clones, but he's talking about it and just breaking it down. I was like, man, he is so right. This movie is not as good as I remember. And I watched it not that long ago, and I thought it was better than I remember. But, you know, I go back and forth about some stuff. Sometimes I can't make up my mind about how I really feel about something. And sometimes your opinions change, you know. Like, maybe 5 years from now, I'll really hate The Last Jedi, or maybe 5 years from now, I think The Force Awakens is now. No, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think The Force Awakens is ever going to really wow me. I liked it. I just way too much of a rehash. Lucas was right. I hope that's not the best thing this movie has going for it, because really pretty looking action scenes and, you know, fast-paced writing and action scenes and witty banter between the characters is not going to be enough to save a trilogy from ending in mediocrity, because that's what it's in danger of. These films are not bad, but they're also not great. The Last Jedi was way too divisive for it to be as good as it could have been. The Force Awakens was way too conservative. You know, there's so much this movie has to do. And even today, I think he announced the runtime is like 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I was so disappointed when I heard that. I was like, you mean to tell me it's shorter than The Last Jedi, but it's the finale? Like, does Abrams have a problem making long films or something? Like, is he... You know, that was the problem. That was one of the problems with Force Awakens, is that when you go from the second act into the third act, there's almost no time in between. There's almost no lull or any slowdown. They just figure out a plan, and then they execute it, and it goes off without a hitch. And that's one of the reasons why when I rewatched that movie, I think, whoa, guys, slow down. I mean, and that's why I can't take the Starkiller Base seriously, because they figured out a plan to defeat it in like 10 seconds, and it worked perfectly. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm curious to know what you think about this scene. I mean, it looks cool, right? Does that mean it's going to be cool on screen? Does that mean that the movie is going to be cool? I hope so, because I don't think I can afford to have my heart broken again by Star Wars. And it's not because I hate what they're doing. It's because they are missing the potential of what they could be doing. And when you see filmmakers not living up to their potential, it is extremely disappointing, especially when it feels like it's been rushed and it feels like it's lacking in creativity. And right now, they have The Mandalorian. I haven't even talked about The Mandalorian. I've been really slacking on content lately. Sorry, it's just been a little crazy. But The Mandalorian is like one of the best things to ever happen to Star Wars. And we're only 3 episodes in. It shows you how you can produce something new that still honors what's been established without hindering it, without tainting it or changing it. The Mandalorian is a perfect example. It's really what the sequel trilogy should have looked like if they were going for something that was set after Return of the Jedi, because it still looks like Star Wars. It still has that kind of more gritty, dirty feel to it, like the original films. But it introduces some cool ideas that fit so well within a universe without changing things too much and without being too much of a rehash. Because The Mandalorian could have very well ended up being a rehash or being too different. But Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, those guys understand Star Wars and they get it, and they're doing an amazing job with it. And so we'll talk more about that at some point. But anyways, what did you think of that clip? I want to know, because I'm sure it probably didn't make you laugh, but I mean, probably just the lines at the end where they say, "They fly now." I mean, you know, that's probably what makes you laugh if you watch it. But I like the scene. I don't know that that was the wisest thing for them to do if they're trying to really bring fans in that you know, it'll probably interest somebody who hasn't ever seen Star Wars before, but really if you've never seen Star Wars, you probably shouldn't be watching The Rise of Skywalker because it's kind of the ending to the saga, so don't know why you'd want to do that. Alright, catch you cats later. I never know how to end these things, so I'm just gonna leave now.